Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks. Today we are talking pressure cooker pot roast. Check it out, you're gonna like this recipe. Let me tell you what I've got here is a frozen pot roast. I've got it thawed just a little bit that I did in the microwave. It'll be enough for us to be able to brown it here nicely. And so we're gonna get this ready. I'm gonna do this in the pressure cooker because it'll take a lot less time, about an hour from beginning to end with the frozen roast. There are a number of ways you can cook a wonderful beef pot roast, of course. You could do this in the slow cooker, you could do this in a Dutch oven on top of the stove or in the oven, and the results are going to be pretty much the same, but the time is going to be different. Let's get started here. What I've got here is a 2.5 pound frozen pot roast, and I've got my pot here on the stove. This is my pressure cooker. I'm going to season generously with kosher salt and with freshly ground black pepper one side of this roast, which by the way I've rinsed and patted dry with a paper towel just to make sure that it's good and clean and you've got it really ready to go. We also want it dry so that it doesn't, so that we don't cause a mess when we put it in the hot oil. Speaking of which, I've got some extra virgin olive oil here. I'm going to put 3 or 4 tablespoons of it in the bottom. Let that heat up. You can see that I've had the pan on for a little while, and we've got this ready to go. I'm going to just go ahead and slip that in there. You can hear that sizzle. That is what you want. Now, we're going to let that brown on each side for probably a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to let that go. And in the meantime, let me show you some of the rest of the ingredients that we're going to use here for our recipe. I'd love to hear that sizzle. What I've got here, I've got 2 nice big carrots that I've cut into a pretty large kind of a dice. We don't need them to be small because we're going to fish them back out. What I'm going to do is just cook all the goodies out of these vegetables, and we're going to remove them and throw them away and make a delicious gravy with this. I've also got 1 yellow onion here, again, big dice as you can see, 2 stalks of celery, again, big dice. I've got part of a head of garlic. I could have used a whole head, really would still be delicious. This I'm just going to cut in half, like this. And we're not going to worry about it falling apart or the peel in there. Again, we're going to strain that out. This is also an ingredient I just love in pot roast. This is part of a rind from Parmigiano Reggiano, which is a lovely kind of Parmesan cheese. I really love to use it. It's expensive cheese from Italy and often comes with a big fat rind on it that you can't grate up and use in your pasta or whatever it is you use Parmesan cheese for. So I save this for pot roast, slow cooker recipes. Adds a delicious, salty, cheesy flavor to everything. We're going to stick that right on in there. What else I've got here is I've got about 1.5 tablespoons of some tomato paste, and we're going to add that in too. Some Worcestershire sauce, some Dijon mustard. I've got about 2 cups of vegetable stock here, and we've got some fennel seeds, some Italian seasoning, some water, and I'm going to use some red wine. And when you're cooking with wine, make sure you use a wine that you actually like to drink and that you find delicious. Don't use a product that you'll find in grocery stores in the U.S. anyway, called cooking wine. Nobody really knows what that is, and it's not very good. Use something that you already think is delicious, all right? Now I can smell that my roast is ready to turn over here. And let me grab my spatula. I'm going to cook that smell. We're going to scrape it up off the bottom. We want to create some of those lovely brown bits. And you know what, before I turn this over, let me not forget to give it a nice seasoning with kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. Again, be generous with this. Beef really likes pepper and, of course, salt. I think that's pretty good right there. Flip it over and brown the other side. See, that's not bad. We could get a little better crust on it. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. And you know what? We'll be back when this is done browning and we're ready for the next step. It's been about 5 minutes and I've got this pot roast browned on both sides. Look at that. Check it out here. You can see I've got a lot of darkened bits in the bottom. That's what we call flavor. And the culinary term for that is actually fond. In English. Here you can see it's crusty and dark brown on top. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to keep the heat on, but I'm going to remove the pot roast as best I can. A little awkwardly. There we go. I'll remove it to a platter for just a moment because, you know what, we could toss these vegetables in there just as is and get started, but this is about building flavors and developing the flavors that we have here. So I'm going to give these a quick go. Just a little bit of, do we need a little more fat in here? I do believe. I'm going to add a little extra virgin olive oil. Now my pan is still smoking hot, as you can see. I'm going to put my aromatic vegetables, that's with no Parmesan cheese for this part, okay? We're going to save that for just a moment from now. I'm going to stick these in here, and you can hear them sizzle. Now, I'm not going to cook these all the way through. I just want to kind of get them started a little bit, so you can get a little bit of color on them. The heat is high. And again, the point here is to develop those flavors. What's also going to happen while we do this, and I'm going to add a little salt and freshly ground pepper to that too, is the onions and the celery especially are going to start giving up their liquid. That's going to help dissolve these brown bits off the bottom of the pan. I'm actually going to do that with some liquid in just a moment. That process is called deglazing. Deglaçage. And here again, we're almost stir frying these. We've got the heat on to a nice high heat. Our next addition is going to be the wine. Let me make sure we're ready for that though. You can see our vegetables are just starting to give up some of their liquid, and again they're dissolving some of that foam in the bottom. I'll begin a little deglaçage. Let that go for just a moment. You just have to be patient when you cook sometimes. You're on its time, it's not on your time, right? Anyway, this is going to be just delicious when we finish up with it. And in the meantime, I'll try not to bang the spatula too much. Gotta work on that, okay. Sizzling away, and as you can see by some of the onions getting just a little brown on the edges, that is exactly what we want. And you know what? It really smells great in here. You can also smell the caramelization of the sugars in the onions and the garlic here. Okay, I'm going to start adding our liquids. I've got wine here again. Remember, when you're cooking with wine, use wine that you love. This is really delicious wine. I'm just going to pour in about a half a cup to a cup of it. And I'm going to use my metal spatula to try to get up most of these brown bits on the bottom. They're going to come up with the next addition anyway. But I'm going to get all these in there. That's delicious, delicious flavor that we want in our gravy. Absolutely. Oops, I thought I wouldn't do it, but I did. Next, I'm going to add this tomato paste. We're going to let that warm up. That's also going to enhance the flavor of that product. Here's my spatula. Let that cook in there for a moment. Let it dissolve with the wine. Mix it right on in. While we're doing that, I'm going to add some of the spices here again. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on spices for this kind of stock, for this gravy. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Good old grocery store Italian seasoning. I like the taste of fennel in this, so I'm going to use about a teaspoon of full fennel seeds. We'll also put in some Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon and a half. And as always, big flavor enhancer, Dijon mustard. Get a nice big old glob of that in there. Beautiful. As you can see, I'm a little cavalier with the quantities, but you can see that's about a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons. The exact quantities, not terribly important. You see, we got a really great base going on here for what is going to become a truly delicious gravy with a depth of flavor that is just going to knock your socks off. Again, of course, you can use other vegetables and other seasonings that you prefer. Go ahead and do that. This is really more of a method than a real recipe. All right, now we're ready to add back in our pot roast. We're going to put that on top of our vegetables, along with all of its juices. Then we're just going to use my spatula to scrape off the plate because I don't like to let anything go down the drain. And then I'm also going to add, because, and again, you want to read the instructions for your particular pressure cooker. In mine, I need at least 4 cups of liquid when I'm doing this kind of recipe. So I'm going to add 1.5 cups of water, 2 cups of vegetable stock. You could use beef stock, you could use whatever stock you like. And of course, not forgetting my Parmigiano Reggiano rind. We're just going to stick that right on in there. That should be just delicious. Now, let's get the heat on high and secure our lid. Okay, we get the lid on here with a little noise. There we go. I'm going to secure that tightly. Make sure it's on here. Got the heat on its highest setting. I'm going to put my 15-pound weight on here. We're going to stick that right on there, and we're going to wait for this to come to a boil and for my little topper to start rocking back and forth gently. Then I'm going to let it cook for 40 minutes, and when that's done, we'll be back. As you can see, my topper has started bobbing gently, and I've set the timer now for 40 minutes, and we're going to wait for that to be done. And when that's over, we'll be back, and we'll look at the finished product and make some gravy. It's been 40 minutes now. My timer's just about to, there it is. My timer's going off, and so look at that. And we're going to turn the heat off here. And I'm just going to remove this from the burner. Bring it over here, set it on a heat-resistant surface so that it can cool down, and we're going to let the pressure inside the canner just reduce on its own. This will probably take about a half an hour, 35 minutes. When that's over, we'll be back to show you how our product turned out. It should be pretty good. It smells fantastic. We'll be back in about half an hour. Okay, now we're ready to open up our pressure cooker here. Notice when I take off the little bobber there, there's no hissing sound or anything, so this is depressurized. We're going to open that up, and my cat Superfly down there, he's ready for a little pot roast. Let's have a look inside at what we've got. You can see, of course, because the fat has rendered, this is reduced in size quite a bit, but it's still a nice sized pot roast. As you can see also, it is falling apart. That's going to be delicious. I'm going to set that aside to rest on a plate while we deal with the rest of it. See if I can get it all out in one go. You know, see, it's falling apart. This is just what we want with a pot roast. This is going to be so delicious with this gravy. And not bad for a 2.5 pound pot roast, right? I think you could definitely feed 4 people, 4 hungry adults with that. Pretty much got all the meat out of there, okay. And you can see here that these vegetables are really cooked up. And I got my cheese kind of sticking to the bottom there. You can see there's a leftover of my cheese rind. This smells so great. I'm going to strain this using a wire strainer here and my 8-cup Pyrex cup. This is always a good way to do it, so you know how much liquid you're dealing with when you're trying to make a gravy. Hey, Super, you get some in a little bit, cutie. That's my boy. He knows that good pot roast. And yes, our cats are spoiled. They might get a little pot roast. All right, we'll set that aside. Here I'm going to let these vegetables drain completely, and then we'll get ready to make our gravy in just a few moments. Now we've drained the juices away from the vegetables that were there. You can see I'm left with about 2 cups of liquid here. It's got a little fat on top. I'm not going to worry about the fat, actually. I want to keep that fat in here. But I want more gravy than this. So what I'm going to do is add 2 more cups, of my home canned vegetable stock. And I have a recipe for making that on my channel. Just look for it. I also have another one for how to can it in a pressure canner. Well, here we go. Anyway, so now we've got 4 cups of liquid here, and I'm going to put this into a saucepan and turn it into a nice gravy. We're on the keto diet around here, so it's low carb. Now you can make a gravy in a couple of ways. I'm going to make it with the least amount of carbs possible, so I'm going to use some xanthan gum instead of a high carb gravy base, like if you make a roux, for example, with equal amounts of flour and butter. And in fact, if you do that, I think for this amount, I would use probably 4 tablespoons of butter and 4 tablespoons of flour, and I would cook them for about 2 minutes until you cook the raw taste of the flour out. We're not using flour, so we don't have that problem. I'm just going to heat up this stock over here on the stove. I'm going to pour this into a medium-sized saucepan, and I'm going to turn the heat on relatively high because we want to bring this to a boil, and then bring it down to a simmer. You can see it's fairly rich looking, even though I've diluted it with that vegetable stock. Smells tremendous. And once I've got it brought to a boil, we'll be back and I'll show you how to make the gravy very simply. Okay, now our liquid is boiling here, as you can see. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. And to thicken it up, again, here, since we're on the keto diet, I want to add as few carbohydrates as possible. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of xanthan gum right here. And here, what I want to do is that you're going to stir it, if you're going to use this, because you don't want it to lump up. We're going to sprinkle it in, stir it up like that. You can see the color changes. I'm going to turn this down. Kind of lumps up a little bit at first. That's all right. We're going to keep stirring it. And I'm going to hope that it smooths out, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to strain those lumps right out at the end, so I'm not even going to worry about it. I can feel it thickening up already. What you just need is something to tighten this up a little bit. One of the things that I find on the keto diet is that the gravies are often a little bit looser than you're used to with a lovely flour and butter-based gravy. But it's one of the little sacrifices I'm willing to make, and as you can see, this already is starting to thicken up nicely, and my lumps are starting to dissolve in there really pretty well. This little whisk is a great tool for that. I'm going to turn that down even a little bit more, and let's give it a taste and see how we do here. Check it for seasoning. Of course, you know, anytime you're cooking, check your seasoning to make sure you don't need more. Make some kind of adjustment. Wow, that is really, really delicious. You can really taste the Parmesan, the Parmigiano Reggiano edge to it. That tangy tomato. Really, really great. This is pretty much ready to serve. So let's have a look at how we do with our roast. Plenty of gravy for everybody, right? Here I've got my roast arranged on a platter. And as you can see, this just sort of, it's a nice thick, kind of a clear gravy. I'm going to cover all the meat with that. And of course, serve some on the side for anybody who wants some. So, there you have it. Pressure cooker pot roast in about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us here today on Tim Talks. We'll see you next time.